Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive is going to be cool for our audience because, we have a lot of English language learners
Yeah.
who listen to this deep dive. So
Sure.
we'll be focusing on words and phrases that might be new or challenging.
Okay, cool.
So let's jump right in. The first clip is of the Queen,
Mm.
assessing Mia's appearance, and she uses the word carriage to talk about Mia's posture.
Okay.
Not the horse-drawn carriage.
Right. Not the Cinderella carriage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But,
So carriage here is talking about how someone holds their body. It's like elegant, it's confident.
Yeah.
Almost like you're carrying yourself well, like you're balancing something
Yeah.
precious or something.
Yeah, it's a very...
You don't hear it every day. It's
Right.
a little more formal.
Yes, definitely. And then the video points out the word complexion, which is a more formal way to describe someone's skin tone.
Right.
And they give examples like clear complexion, fair complexion, or glowing complexion.
Yes, it's meant to describe skin that's healthy and attractive.
Right, like something you'd read in like a beauty magazine.
Exactly.
Okay, so this next one is funny. The Queen makes a comment about Mia's Bushman eyebrows.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be like a humorous scene, but it does raise a question about how language can be unintentionally offensive.
Yes, definitely. And it's important to know as an English learner, like you were saying, not just the dictionary definition, but also like
Right.
the cultural connotations.
Yeah, because like bushy is fine to describe eyebrows, but Bushman is
Nah,
not.
right.
Okay, moving on. The Queen is very, very specific about Mia wearing stockings, not tights, not socks.
Ah,
And I thought this was interesting because the video goes into a little bit of fashion history.
oh, cool.
Yeah, and mentions that like both men and women wore stockings in medieval times.
Interesting.
And it clarifies the differences
Yeah.
between stockings, tights, and socks.
Yeah, that's good for English learners.
Yeah. And speaking of clarifying, I love how the video breaks down connected speech.
Yes.
So they take a line like, "And I never want to see those shoes again,"
Okay.
and show how the sounds blend together,
Yeah.
which is super helpful because,
Because that's how people actually talk.
right, like, "and I never" becomes an "I
The
never."
want to becomes a wanna.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a secret code to sounding more natural.
It's like learning a rhythm.
Yes. And then there's the phrase "under scrutiny," which the Queen uses to describe how a princess is always being watched and judged.
Yeah, scrutiny means being observed super closely, often with a critical eye.
Oof, that's a lot of pressure.
It is. Imagine like you're under a microscope
Yeah.
or you have a spotlight on you. Like
Yeah.
that's the feeling it evokes.
Right.
Yeah, definitely good to know that phrase.
Okay, so there's this scene where the Queen is trying to improve Mia's posture,
Okay.
and she uses the phrase "tuck under," which I think could be confusing for some English language.
It could be tuck under in this context means to like pull your stomach in
Okay.
and straighten your back.
Gotcha.
The opposite of slouching is like tucking your shirt.
Yeah.
Like the same verb, but
Different actions.
depending what you're tucking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All about context. Okay. Ready for a change of pace?
Yes.
Let's go to the makeover scene with Paolo the stylist.
Okay.
When he first sees Mia, he describes her hair as frizzy, busy, dizzy.
Okay, so those are all,
And just so funny.
yeah, they rhyme and they really show you
Yes.
this untamed, out of control hair.
Yeah, frizzy means like curly and unruly. And busy means like,
Lots of movement.
yeah, and dizzy adds like a sense of chaos.
Yeah, like her hair has a life of its own.
Exactly. It's such a fun way to like learn descriptive vocabulary.
Yes.
And then there's a humor of Paolo mispronouncing gorgeous.
Yes.
And the video points out another instance of connected speech in the Queen's line, "Why don't you tuck one ankle behind the other?"
Okay.
And it's subtle, but the T and the Y sounds blend together.
So it sounds like don't you
Yeah.
when spoken naturally.
And it's such a polite way to give instructions, too.
It is.
Okay, before we move on, I want to touch on the phrase, "buy some time,"
Okay.
which the video uses in a behind-the-scenes story about filming.
Okay.
So Anne Hathaway needed a little bit of extra time to break the brush during a scene,
Oh.
and so they had to buy some time.
It just means to delay something.
Yeah.
So you have more time to think or to prepare or to solve a problem.
Yeah, it's like a pause button for real life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've already covered a lot of interesting language from this first part of the video. I'm curious, what stands out to you so far?
Well, I think the biggest thing is how this video uses humor and real-life examples
Yeah.
to make learning English more engaging and fun.
Yes.
It's not just about memorizing words and grammar.
That's
It's
the
about understanding.
context.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
you're getting a glimpse into the real world of
Yeah.
English.
And who better to guide us
Right.
than a princess and a queen?
It's a very fancy English lesson.
Yes. Very proper.
Very proper.
Yes. And I think it's also a good reminder that for English learners,
Yeah.
that even something as simple as like a movie scene
Yeah.
can be a really valuable learning opportunity.
Really.
Yeah.
So much to learn.
It's not just about the individual words, though. The video also points out the importance of collocations,
Oh, right.
which are words that commonly go together.
Yeah. Yeah. Like heavy rain instead of strong rain.
Right, exactly.
Or make a decision instead of do a decision.
Yes, exactly.
Those sound weird.
Right.
So yeah, understanding those collocations is key for sounding natural.
Yes, it is.
And they give the example of complexion being paired with adjectives like clear, fair, or glowing.
Right, it helps you build your vocabulary in chunks
Yeah.
rather than just memorizing individual words.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
like learning the secret handshake
Yes.
of the English language.
Yeah.
But speaking of challenges, I think pronunciation can be a big one for English learners,
Absolutely, yeah.
especially with connected speech.
Especially with connected speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where hearing real-life examples can be so helpful.
Right.
And they do a great job in this video
Yeah.
of slowing down the audio and like visually showing you
Yeah.
how words blend together.
Like they highlight how why don't you becomes why don't you
Right.
in natural speech.
Exactly.
It's so small, but
There's a huge difference
So
in
good.
understanding. Yeah.
okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the role of humor in this video.
Okay.
Because, learning a new language can be tough.
It can be.
And I think a little laughter can
And
make it a little bit more enjoyable.
It can, and this video definitely uses humor a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like from the Queen's dry wit
Yeah.
to Paulo's personality.
Hollow is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just like a really fun video.
Yeah, it keeps things lighthearted, you know?
Right. And, I think humor can also be a window into understanding a culture.
It can be, yeah. The type of humor that people find funny tells you a lot about them.
Yeah.
Like in the video, they play on Paulo's mispronunciation of gorgeous for laughs.
Right.
But it's all in good fun, you know?
Exactly. And it's a way of like acknowledging the differences
Right?
in pronunciation and accents without being disrespectful.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. I was also really impressed with how the video addressed the potential for language to be offensive,
Yes.
like with that Bushman eyebrows comment.
Right. You know, it's not enough to just know the dictionary definition of a word.
Right.
You need to know, like, the cultural baggage
Yes.
that comes with it.
And potential for harm.
Yeah.
So it's about like using language responsibly
Absolutely.
and respectfully.
Yes,
And I think the video does a good job of that.
they do.
Okay, so let's talk about like the bigger picture for a moment.
Right.
What do you think is like the main takeaway for English learners?
From this video's approach.
Yeah, from using movies and TV shows
Yeah.
as learning tools.
I think it really highlights the power of authentic materials.
Okay.
You're not just learning isolated words
Right.
and grammar rules.
It's in context.
It's in context.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're immersed in it.
Yes. And you're picking it up naturally.
Yeah, it's much more effective than just staring at a textbook.
Right. And you can do it on your own time.
Right, at your own pace.
Rewind, pause, look up words,
Exactly.
take your time.
Yeah.
And the video gives some practical tips for using movies and TV shows effectively.
Right, they talk about creating flashcards
Oh, yeah?
and using space repetition software.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have...
From vocabulary and pronunciation to cultural sensitivity
Yeah.
and the power of authentic materials.
It's amazing what you can learn.
From just one movie scene.
I know, it's true.
It really is.
And it just shows how rich and complex the English language is.
Yes.
And that the journey is full of discoveries
Yeah,
and possibilities.
it's like exploring a new world one word at a time.
It is.
I like that.
I like that too.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, I thought it would be fun to test your ears a little bit
Oh,
with a little connected speech challenge.
okay. I like it.
Yeah. So I'm going to play a few lines from the movie,
Okay.
and you see if you can identify where the words connect and how the pronunciation changes.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Amelia, does your bad posture affect your hearing?
Does your re becomes deser?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try another one. And you will wear stockings Not tights, not socks.
I think not tights becomes not tights.
Yes, that's it.
Right.
Okay, last one. This is a classic example of connected speech. Why don't you tuck one ankle behind the other?
That's the don't you becoming don't you.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
See, connected speech is everywhere.
It is.
And natural English
Sure.
is what makes it flow smoothly.
Right.
But it can also make it harder to understand,
Especially for learners.
especially for learners. Exactly.
Yeah.
So practicing recognizing these blended sounds is so important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The more you listen for them in movies, TV shows, conversations,
Yeah.
the easier it will become
Exactly.
to understand.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so before we say goodbye, I'm going to leave you with a final thought. We've been talking about all these nuances of language, like
Yeah.
how it could be formal, informal, humorous,
Right.
even offensive sometimes.
Right.
But beyond all of that, how do you think understanding these nuances of language can help you connect with others on a deeper level?
That's a good question. I think it's important to remember that language is so much more than just words, you know? It's a way to build relationships, to share stories, to express your emotions,
Right.
to create a sense of belonging,
It's like that bridge that connects us
Exactly.
to other people and to the world around us.
Yeah, and the more we understand those nuances of language,
Yes.
the better we can use it
Yeah,
to build those bridges and to connect with others.
exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is a wrap on our royal deep dive into the language of the Princess Diaries.
So fun.
I know, it was so fun. Thanks for joining us, everyone.